What's going on, guys? It's Nathan. I really felt like doing this. It's just too perfect not to. We got Film Theory's Rogue One's Turn to the Dark Side. Film Theory, one of my favorite YouTube channels because I'm such a huge fan of film, and their theories always captivate me. Matt Pat's great, and you know how much I love Star Wars, so it's a match made in heaven. So we're going to check it out right now. Here we go.
We did it, you guys! After suffering through 3 horrendous prequels, Star Wars is great again. The Force Awakens gave us awesome new characters, and now we get spin-off movies in between the new episodes, like Rogue One, which has cool new characters and a set before Episode 4. Wait, that means there's more prequels!
It's great. Film Theory. So good. This is gonna be a good one.
Internet. Welcome to Film Theory, the show where we get to celebrate our favorite franchises by bending over backwards to justify their horrible plot holes and leaps of logic.
What are midichlorians?
Midichlorians are a microscopic life form.
Nope, no, not today. Those wounds have yet to heal. So hey, it's nearly December, and that means we're only weeks away from the biggest celebration of the year. No, not Christmas, Hanukkah, Ramadan, or the Fiesta of Our Lady Guadalupe. It's the release of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Yes, sir, a legitimate excuse to take a break from your family bickering about eggnog and stockings to go watch spaceships explode and people choke each other to death with their minds. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Oh, I love the holidays. Now, I'll admit it, I was a bit worried with them restarting the Star Wars franchise with The Force Awakens last year. But hey, my fears were put aside because The Force Awakens turned out pretty good. But you know, if there's something that cranks my skepticism levels up to 11, it's a spin-off series being slotted in between main series releases. So I'm hoping against hope that we can keep the positive streak going this year with Star Wars spin-off Rogue One. In case you've been frozen in carbonite and haven't seen the trailers, Rogue One is the story of a ragtag group of rebel fighters who endeavor to steal the Death Star plans shortly before the events of the OG Star Wars A New Hope. Admittedly, it's a really cool idea, but it also got me thinking, how are they going to explain away the fact that we haven't encountered any of the major characters from Rogue One in episodes 4, 5, 6, or 7, the episodes that are supposedly coming after them in the timeline? I suppose the easiest way to do it would be to kill everyone, but is that really likely? No kid is going to buy the action figure of a Resistance pilot who gets killed after 15 minutes of screen time, and George Lucas needs his merch money, damn it! And think about it. Why would the trailers have built up Jyn Erso, Felicity Jones's character, so much if she and the Rogue One movie weren't going to connect to this new trilogy that's being released? So it almost seems like Disney has written themselves into a corner. We have a team of characters led by Jyn Erso that seems like it should have significance outside of Rogue One and tie into the main series movies, but those characters can't be instrumental to the Rebel cause since they surely would have shown up or at least been mentioned sometime in episodes 4, 5, and 6.
I rebel.
No. Considering they would have, you know, completed one of the most important missions against the Empire ever, stealing the plans for the Death Star. And so when you have writers painted into a corner, my friends, you call a theorist. Because even though we've only got a few trailers to analyze, and much of the extended universe is questionably canon at this point, I've got a way to bridge that gap. One that explains away everything and predicts the plotline not only for this December's movie, but next year's Episode 8 as well. I'm 100% confident in saying that Jyn Erso is coming back in Episode 8, but probably not in the way that you think. Yeah, Matt Pat, we know where you're going with this. You're gonna say that Jyn Erso is Rey's mom. That theory's been around for months. Thank you so much for your skeptical comment, hypothetical internet viewer. And you know what? I can't really fault you entirely for thinking that, because honestly, that's where this theory began. Probably the biggest question we're left with at the end of The Force Awakens is who Rey really is and where she comes from. And when you look at how Jyn Erso is described in the Rogue One trailers, it's hard not to make the comparison. Badass young women left on their own on a desert planet as teenagers who happen to sport brown hair and a British accent. It's compelling on the surface, but then you look a bit deeper and that's pretty much all the evidence that you got.
Yeah.
There are some fairly sizable issues that don't work out in this scenario, like, for instance, the timeline. Jyn Erso is played by Felicity Jones, who's currently 33 years old.
This is what I always think of.
She's a little bit younger than that in the movies, but she isn't going to be a young teenager like Rey or Luke during the main thrust of her action in Rogue One. So considering that Rogue One takes place before the events of A New Hope, that would make Jyn Erso at least 10 years older than Luke Skywalker, who himself is looking pretty ragged at the end of The Force Awakens. So are we supposed to believe that someone well older than old Luke has a teenage daughter? It's a bit of a stretch. And regarding accents, it's not like Jyn Erso is the only brunette that we've ever seen in this universe who speaks with a British accent. Mon Mothma, Queen Amidala, heck, even Carrie Fisher couldn't decide whether she was British or not in episode 4.
The more you tighten your grip, Tuck, the more star systems will slip through your fingers. Somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way.
And lastly, if Jyn was indeed Rey's mom, it wouldn't do so much to explain Rey's force powers. As the director of Rogue One, Gareth Edwards, explains about the movie, quote, "It comes down to a group of individuals that don't have magic powers, that have to bring hope to the galaxy. It's about the fact that God's not coming to save us and we're on our own. The absence of the Jedi is omnipresent in the film. It hangs over the whole movie," end quote. And if you're still clinging to the idea that Rey could be Jyn's daughter with some Jedi father, let's let Daisy Ridley, Rey herself, dash those dreams right out the door for you. In an interview at the MTV Movie Awards, she said both that she knew who Rey's parents are and also this.
I'm not being funny, you guys, but just because she's white and got brown hair, do you know what I mean? Doesn't mean she's my mum. I also don't know if that will work out time-wise.
She's obviously not going to say anything with absolute certainty one way or the other because PR is a tricky mistress and Disney doesn't want its secrets getting out of its vault, but it doesn't look good for the Jyn is Rey's mom theory. And you know what? I'm perfectly fine with that, because there's a much better theory that unifies the Rogue One squadron into the main Star Wars narrative by connecting them with another group. One that we know almost nothing about, but that we know is going to play a huge role in the upcoming Star Wars main movies, and that is the Knights of Ren. Remember those guys? Maybe not by name, but you definitely remember seeing them. As the black-clad warriors led by Kylo Ren. The ones we caught a brief glimpse of in that weirdo vision that Rey has when she finds Luke's lightsaber in The Force Awakens.
Aren't they Force users?
You say. You know when things like that pop up, I'm all over that, like sand getting all up in Anakin's business.
I don't like sand. It's coarse.
I had to make that joke, man.
It gets everywhere.
That dream sequence has stuck with me since I first saw Force Awakens.
Yeah, it's beautiful. My favorite scene.
I finally have the theory of how it all fits together. What I'm proposing today is that this group in Rogue One turns into this group from the sequel trilogy.
How?
Prepare to be convinced.
But they need to be
original
Force
teaser
users.
For Rogue One. Forrest Whitaker's character, Saw Gerrera,
Donnie
has a little
Yen.
speech about Jyn Erso that feels awfully foreshadowy. Let's take a close look at that.
What will you do when they catch you? What will you do if they break you? If you continue to fight? What will you become?
First off, he says, when they catch you, rather than if they catch you. And that's exactly the kind of negative thinking that a rebellion doesn't need, Saw. Yeah, with that attitude, they're gonna catch you. Anyway, those three sentences we just heard are an entire character arc. A character being caught by the enemy, that character then being broken by them, and that character eventually having a transformation. And keep in mind, these teasers and trailers are produced with tremendous care, costing hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars, where every word is poured over by every single person working on the brand in that company. So make no mistake, it's not an accident that just as Saw Gerrera finishes saying, "What will you become?" that we get a glimpse of Jyn Erso wearing a very prominent Imperial patch on her arm. It's most likely that that's just her disguise to get to the Death Star and steal the information the Rebel Alliance needs in that moment in the movie. But what that shot is hinting at is Jyn being captured, tortured, and converted to the dark side. And honestly, would that be such a huge
He always takes what I think and just twists it into something else.
Playing by the rules anyway, based on a rap sheet.
Forgery of Imperial documents, possession of stolen property, aggravated assault, resisting arrest.
And honestly, it wouldn't be a huge stretch for some of the other members of Rogue One to transition to the dark side either. Baze Malbus is a freelance assassin who probably doesn't have an allegiance to anyone. Bodhi Rook used to be a cargo pilot for the Empire. Even the droid K2SO is a reprogrammed Imperial Enforcer droid. I'm not saying that they all turned heel and gave the rebellion a big old stone-cold Steve Austin middle finger, but isn't it possible that Rogue One was able to steal the plans and somehow get captured on the Death Star? We know from the trailers that Darth Vader's there, and we also know, based on past movies, how he feels about not killing intruders. In fact, let's take a moment to explore the opening of Episode 4.
Okay.
That many of us have seen dozens of times, and yet it's incredible how many plot details we've all been so eager to overlook. By actually listening to what Darth Vader says, we get a clear picture of what's going on here. So we know prior to the start of this scene that Princess Leia receives plans to the Death Star. Plans that she puts on R2-D2 for safekeeping before getting herself captured.
Being
but
aboard
where
ship.
did those plans come from? tells us. The plans for the Death Star weren't physically captured, but instead
Beamed
simply
aboard.
transmitted to the princess on board this ship.
Several transmissions were beamed to the ship by rebel spies.
But then, why is Vader going after this transmission? Shouldn't he be going after the rebel spies who infiltrated and transmitted them in the first place, aka the Rogue One team? Well, it's likely he's going after the transmissions because he and the rest of the Imperial crew have already taken care of the people who sent them. Not by killing them, but capturing them. Torturing them like they do Han in Episode 5 and Kylo repeat in Episode 7, all with the intent of making the Rogue One team work for them. You might be thinking as you smoke your little Ewok pipe and stroke your adorably furry chin, Kylo Ren is described as the master of the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
Based on your theory, he would have been way too young to be a member of that group when it was formed, if he was even born yet at all. And if that's your concern, I have just one thing to say to you. Don't listen to me, listen to Adam Driver, the actor who plays Kylo Ren, who actually addressed this issue in an interview before, saying that the Knights of Ren, quote, was a group that existed before him that he became a part of. So then if Kylo Ren is the young whippersnapper of the group, why is he described as its master? Well, remember that none of our Rogue One friends are Force users. Daring pilots? Sure. Tough fighters? Absolutely. But when the new guy on the team shows that he can stop a laser in midair with his mind powers, you just go ahead and step aside. Make that guy your captain. Alright, so real talk, this is all well and good, but it's also well and speculative. Yeah, sure, the members of Rogue One certainly could get captured and become evil, but for all we know, they could end up as horrible CGI slaves in Jabba's palace, like these guys. Unfortunately, with the Knights of Ren having virtually no screen time yet and the plot of Rogue One largely uncertain, we have little concrete evidence to go off of. That being said, the little that we do have produces one clue that I believe clinches this whole theory. The Art of Star Wars: The Force Awakens is a book filled with sketches and concept art that came out last year alongside Episode 7. And it's a really cool look at the whole design process for The Force Awakens that any big Star Wars fan should really check out. Hashtag not sponsored. But one detail in particular caught my attention. The book contains a noteworthy sketch of the 5 Knights of Ren. Here it is. Do they look familiar? They should. The Heavy looks like he matches up well with Baze Malbus, an assassin known for using giant weapons. Baze is, like the Heavy, the most thoroughly armored of the group, and notice the shoulder. That's right, both he and the Heavy wear the same shoulder protection on the same shoulder. As we see from the Rogue One trailers, this is the shoulder Baze rests his laser cannon on to shoot down AT-ATs. That little clip indicates that Baze Malbus is probably in charge of heavy artillery, which may be where the Knights of Ren, the Heavy, gets his name. Next we have the Armory, which looks a whole lot like Bodhi Rook. Compare the dressings that they have on their chests. Both of them are covered in a vest with little compartments and pouches. Riz Ahmed, his actor, likens Bodhi to a truck driver, so he's definitely the mechanic of the group. The one with a full tool belt who's ready for any situation. That's what it looks like the Armory is to the Knights of Ren, the utility guy. The guy ready with a variety of weapons and tools that his team might need. Then there's the Sniper, which matches up with this guy, Cassian Andor. Compare the rifles these two are holding with their respective pictures. The guns look pretty similar, as is the way the two characters are holding them. Beyond this, a lot of promotional material for Rogue One shows Cassian with a rifle of some kind, so it's quite possible that he's the marksman of the group. By the actor's own admission, there's not a whole lot to talk about this guy right now, so let's move on. The next one is really easy. The monk clearly matches up with this one, Tarut Imwe. Tarut is described as a spiritual warrior and is shown as a calm blind man in a robe carrying a staff. If that doesn't say monk to you, I'm not sure if it's gonna. And if you're thinking that Tarut Imwe appears to be the kind of monk who wouldn't take up arms against anyone, well, no. Which leaves us with one final person to account for, Jyn Erso, the Rebel. The person Rogue One is most likely named for, given that Bodhi comes up with the call sign while staring Jyn straight in the eye. We don't get a whole lot of clues from the picture of the last Knight of Ren, though I suppose they're standing in similar ways in the two pictures. That's a bit of a stretch, admittedly. But you know what's not a stretch? The final Knight's name, which just so happens to be the Rogue. Something tells me that's no accident. So when Jyn and the team get captured at the end of Rogue One, and then get revealed as the Knights of Ren in Episode 8, just remember, you heard it here first. But until then, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. I swear, if Jyn Erso is Rey's mom, then they are just deliberately screwing with our heads, because it legitimately would make no sense.
God, no.
Just saying. Just saying.
That's
You know
nice.
what does make sense, though? Subscribing to the Film Theorists for more mind-blowing theories on all your favorite franchises by clicking right here. Tell you what, I think I earned your subscription after this one. Predicting the next 2 Star Wars movies? It doesn't get much bigger than that. And hey, if you're a fan of Star Wars, then you're gonna want to see this. It's a video calculating the impacts of destroying the Death Star. Sure, in the movie it's all like, woo, we beat the Empire, but the actual economic ramifications for all these planets is devastating. So make sure you click there to check that one out. So now if you'll excuse me,
Pretty
I need to
good.
put the finishing touches on next week's theory, which, if you truly are a fan of Star Wars, I think you're really gonna like.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. Okay. Yeah, I always think I'm a step ahead, like, no, because of this. Like, it can't possibly go the way you're going because of this. And then he takes it, and then he presents new evidence that just goes his way, and I'm like, oh my god, and he catches me off guard. It's amazing how he does that. This was a really good theory, and a lot of it does line up. Granted, a lot of it's based off of looks. But he does have some key things, like, the look and Jin. Of course, sorry. It's definitely not, confirmed that's how the scene will go, because trailers cut different ways, and they can make it look like it's in the same scene, but then it turns out it's a whole different thing. So, it's probably not like that, but it could go that way. And if they're really taking a spin-off film, and they're putting it into episode 8, that would be interesting, though I don't think they'll go that way. This is a very compelling theory, and it very well could be true. But I don't think it will. I guess time will tell in a couple of weeks when Rogue One comes out, and we see if anybody does survive. And then we'll get 100% confirmation come next year when episode 8 comes out. Until then, it's just a theory. A film theory. So be sure to subscribe to them. Guys, what did you think of Matt Pat's video? It was great. Be sure to subscribe to Film Theory and Game Theory while you're at it. He has both channels. Really good. I'll link the original video in the description below, so you can go check out the Film Theory channel. This is great. So let's talk about in the comments, guys. What did you guys think? And yeah, that being said, hope you have a great day. May the Force be with you always. One more thing. I recently put up a teaser trailer that I'm going to be doing a comedic review of The Force Awakens for the release of Rogue One. It's in the same style you would see from a Cinemassacre or Nostalgia Critic or JonTron. So that's going to be really fun, and I'm actually going to show it to you right now here at the end of the video. So check this out. Quick minute. Hope you guys have a great day. May the Force be with you always. I already said that. Let's go.